Alright, y'all, man, this is a new channel. Just found him. I'm sure he makes good videos. Sub up to him. We got... Bro, I can hardly see through his glasses. I don't know. B-side. So, I'm sure he makes great videos. It just popped up. We got the masculine urge to join a fascist death squad. Let's see.
Fun fact, leftists do not hate guns. In fact, I personally own at least one. Not only do I own a firearm, but unlike the vast majority of people that are gun owners, I've actually used mine in self-defense. I bought my first home in 2010 and it was burglarized not long after. In fact, it was burglarized multiple times. However, one day I just happened to be at home when a handful of teenagers appeared at the back of my home trying to get in. For legal reasons,
that they learned a Smith and Wesson or a Smith and Lesson. Shit. Yeah, man. The hell? Why? I mean, it's so stupid breaking into people's houses. Number one, you don't really gain anything unless it's like a targeted attack and it's like someone that's rich and they have assets that you can have. Majority of people don't. Really want a PS5 you can sell at the fucking pawn shop for $250. Like, I don't get it anymore, man.
I won't get into many details, but let's just say I defended my home and nobody was hurt in the process. Okay, however, the experiences in the aftermath were very odd for me. When I told people the story of how I defended my home, I may have gotten a few pats on the back, but there was also this other thing I felt from certain men when I told this story. Envy and in some cases, judgment. Man, if that was me, I'd have blown them away. Wow, I wish I'd have been there. They lucky they never tried me like that because somebody would have left in a box. Yada, 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 kill people. I kill motherfuckers. A lot of shit like that. Mind you, I was fully aware that...
Depends the person you probably break into the house, yeah.
These were kids breaking into my house, teenagers from the local high school, little black boys doing some shit they had no business doing, literally the types of kids I worked with and taught for most of my adult life at that time. Whenever I call police and
I'm sorry, I don't really care who you are, especially breaking into someone's house. I don't know your intentions, and I'm gonna assume your intentions are to kill me or my family. You're dead. Or I'm gonna at least defend myself. And like, yeah, I could be playing into that, but like, I don't think people understand your intentions when you break into someone's house, especially at night. You know, I'm sorry, but, you know, this is outlandish one. The dildo of consequences doesn't come with lube or some shit. I heard it somewhere, but yeah.
Just prior after getting robbed, they were real lathered up telling me just how I could legally kill these children if I just so happened to be in a position to do so. And these are both white cops and black cops. I made videos about both of those, by the way. Georgia is a stand your ground state, and if someone has broken into your home, you have the legal right to use deadly force to defend it. And I know this because I heard this over and over again from various people from various different backgrounds telling me with an almost euphoric, erotic desire how lucky I was to have had the opportunity to defend my home with violence. And in that same breath, often saying how disappointing it was to them that I had not shot someone's 15-year-old son just to keep them from stealing my Xbox. And don't get me wrong,
fair.
I vividly remember one of the times getting robbed. I had just bought like off eBay or something an old PlayStation 2 just so I could find an old version of Final Fantasy 12, and I was gonna do this broken meme run with the game where you could get this infinite level up trick where you could just leave your game on for a day and let it run. With a few setting tweaks, the game would play itself and you'd come back and you'd be at level 100 or something. And I look forward.
I've never played games like that. I mean, I'm lost here.
To that all day, only to come home and have it gone. I'm getting off topic, but the fact that that's what I was thinking about should tell you how I really feel about taking the lives of children. It's not my thing. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I think it's more.
I don't think majority of people want to kill kids, but like, dude, like, I don't think, like, if someone breaks in your house, I'm sorry, like, unless you got cameras and you see, you know, you got trip wires and you know exactly where they're coming from, you got their position, like, you can tell who they are. I don't think most people know that kids are breaking into their house, but I mean, if it's repeat people, then I mean, I would probably assume it's the same people breaking in.
Like there's something wrong with y'all. And a few years ago, I almost told this story on the video where I talked about edgelords, and that was because I was also in that same video talking about the movie Nobody. Some of you all may not remember it because it's kind of like a B tier John Wick, which is already a B tier, like straight to video energy action movie. Nobody is interested in examination of this masculine power fantasy of righteous violence, except it kind of revels in it in a way that I think is more honest, but I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Now, I'm sure there's some of you listening to this that thinks that this whole thing, everything I'm saying, sounds insane and is being made up. But most of you, at least according to my analytics, have probably witnessed a conversation like this before, because you've probably been in enough male spaces to know that there's always at least one guy that is trying not to come in his pants at the idea of having the right to kill someone. Maybe he owns guns, maybe he doesn't, but he will soon. Maybe he wants to defend his unborn future child or their sister or his wife or girlfriend that he doesn't actually have. There's a lot of these corny, awful pictures of like dads holding guns up to their daughter's prom dates. This is...
Yeah, to me, I'm fully with him on that. Doesn't show that you're this guy. Like, you're weird. I've seen that. Like, I will do, like, come on, dude.
A thing and how boys and men are socialized in this country. And it's probably why Renee Good and tons of other unarmed innocent people have lost their lives in this country. I won't go as far as to say that everyone who ends up in the military or police force or ICE has this exact type of energy, but I will die on the hill that these are usually the types of people that do go into these fields, and they often have the most heinous records in terms of overreach and violence and outright killing of unarmed people. It doesn't take much effort.
I would probably disagree, honestly.
To look through America's long history of police brutality to find examples literally on tape of these types of guys just looking for an excuse. Some of them...
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that are like, got bullied in school, now they're the authority guy. Like, I've seen that.
Right, we'll say it. So what's at the root of this? Why is this a thing in society? I think the answer is pretty straightforward, and it deals with men's socialized relationship with violence. Boys are raised to have a very paradoxical relationship with violence. On one end, it's instilled in boys very early on that they need to be capable of exerting and absorbing physical violence, and that without said capability, there will never be a real man. Because this is usually where they begin to learn to disregard bodily autonomy, both their own, but also the autonomy of others, because bodily autonomy for young boys is something that you have to earn through your capacity to exert and withstand violence, your capacity to enforce your own autonomy. And in that same breath, you're also expected to test the autonomy of others in order to make sure that they're on the same grade as you are. And this is done through informal body rituals with little boys, whether it be something as benign as flicking someone in the ear or as heinous as the many stories of bullying or hazing that you might hear in a sports locker room in middle or high school. Yeah, and that's where the paradox sets.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never, like, even when I was in school, shit, I've never got the point of fighting somebody because, like, dude, I don't think I really care about what you're saying, right? Like, if it gets me to a point where I need to fight you, I think that kind of shows, you know, that you're being a little emotional. Because I guarantee the majority arguments are what? Aren't really that serious. Like, give it a week, something happened in the news and you don't give a fuck anymore. So I think he's right here.
In because you're pretty explicitly told to be capable of violence, but there's also a lot of conflicting rules around it. Don't be a bully unless it serves a greater purpose or someone is asking for it. Don't hit women, but also don't let anyone emasculate you. And if they do, then it's your responsibility to reaffirm your masculinity with violence if necessary, regardless of who does it. Use your strength to protect and support others, but that also means you're in charge. And if people don't respect the fact that you're in charge, they're emasculating you, which means you might have to reaffirm that masculinity through violence. You see how this is a very confusing and ugly thing that a lot of men are dealing with. However, at the end of the day, I want to be clear. Most men, the vast majority, even the worst of us, don't aspire to be violent psychopaths.
Majority of men aren't. So majority of people aren't either. It's just facts. Sorry.
Men engage with this complex relationship with violence without actually committing acts of violence on other people for whatever reason. And then some join ICE. Herschel Walker, I remember vividly. If you don't know, Herschel Walker is one of the greatest football players of all time, right? But he said himself that he almost didn't go to college because he wanted to join the army because he wanted to kill people. This is a real story, and he is not alone in that regard. Some
cool.
of you don't hear these conversations.
Hey, shit, I don't mind that. Join the army for as long as you kill the right people. I'm cool with it. Join Delta Force. As long as you take out enemy targets that are actually enemies and terrorists, yeah, I'm good with that. I don't. As long as you always start shooting random people, but take out the enemy, I'm fine with that.
But if you go into enough men's spaces with some of these dudes, they will let the mask slip. They will tell you. And that brings me back to the film Nobody. What's interesting about Nobody is that it's one of the few films that's honest about this relationship with violence, about the movie's relationship with violence. When you look at a lot of I called them Sigma male action stars, I made a video about it a little while back, because at the turn of the millennium, you saw a very distinct change in the way idealized masculinity was presented to Americans. It used to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was about to call him Rob Van Damme. Shout out. Right?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, alpha male idealized
one of my favorite wrestlers.
Images of masculinity used to be these big, muscular, over-the-top figures. And with The Matrix and Jason Bourne and eventually on to John Wick now, that changed into more of an everyman, low-key, neurodivergent coded figure of these people that they weren't necessarily less masculine. It's just that the idealized masculinity was now this stoic, almost sociopathic figure that was able to effectively operate in this violent world while also staying very subdued and very calm. There were no more one-liners, no more sweat, no more dirt and muscles. It was just badass Sigma Wolf action males. Put the music behind me, right? You know what I'm talking about. However, Nobody
Edits go hard.
Has some of those features, but it's actually just more honest. It stars a very normal guy who happened to used to be a contract killer or enforcer of some type for the US government, and he has traded that life for the trappings of what normative patriarchal masculinity says is supposed to satisfy a man, namely a wife and the kids and a house in the suburbs. However, the movie puts in a lot of energy to situate those things as unfulfilling and even demeaning. When Bob suffers a home invasion, it's Bob Odenkirk, by the way, and in the movie his name is Hutch. Bob Odenkirk, from Better Call Saul. I never watched that. I probably should watch that. I heard it's pretty good. I need some new shit to watch. We'll put some new shit I should watch in the comments section. Okay. But then his house gets burglarized, and he decides, even though he really could have very easily killed these two burglars, to let them go. And everyone, including his own son and his brother-in-law and everybody in his life, demeans him and emasculates him for the fact that he had the chance to kill someone with a righteous kill type situation, and he doesn't. He suffers this silently until he realizes that,
I mean, dude, someone's breaking into your, I get it, but someone's breaking into your house, right?
Somebody actually stole something from his youngest daughter, and then he goes on a trek to find that particular thing. Hijinks and intrigue ensues, and it's very much worth the watch if you're an action fan. But what's interesting from the film is how we're made to recognize how much happier Odenkirk's character Hutch is now that he has reignited his relationship with violence. It's almost a love story in that way. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, except Mrs. Smith is violence itself. And again, it's a fun, ridiculous film. I never watched the sequel, but I figure it's just as good. But I found the underlying themes telling about how we imagine and even idealize men. In your John Wicks, it's obvious as a movie watcher that violence is cool. The assassin underworld is cool. But Wick as a character is above the violence itself 95% of the time.
I don't think more people watch John Wick for the violence. I think they watch it for a story of John Wick. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't watch movies, so I'm very hard on I really don't know, but I'm pretty sure what killed his dog, and it's a whole story. I think people like the what the story is.
Seem like he's having fun. This is all just reflexive to him. But in Nobody, it's very clear that Odenkirk's character loves what he's doing. He loves that he finally has an excuse to let loose. The violence is more brutal. Instead of sleek nightclubs and Asian corporate buildings, they're fighting in abandoned factories and car shops and shit, and public buses. And because of this, while Nobody is successful, I wonder if it's less popular because it's more honest about what this violent fantasy really is and really looks like to the people watching it. These folks that join ICE or the military or the police will tell you it's about a code or country or brotherhood or whatever. And I'll give grace to say that to maybe a few of them, that's true. But for others of them, it's just power. It's just the excuse to be rabid dogs who probably would have been put down in some other context. That's who we're dealing with right now and who we've been dealing with forever when it comes to the teeth of the state. And I'm not going to make any prescriptions as to how regular everyday people should deal with these individuals, but I will say this.
Yeah, I just disagree with that. I don't think the majority of people in the military want to be powerful because they have no power outside of the military. You don't. If you're a regular civilian, you don't have power. And then police, majority of them don't have, I mean, what? Maybe some? I think it's the other way around. I think there's, yeah, I don't know. I think the people that join the military aren't looking for power. Now, police, there might be more difference. And then what? ICE might be, I don't know how much power they're going to get from that, but because I don't know how they get power from that, but okay.
America is a gun-loving country, and leftists love their guns. When it comes to media analysis, though, if you appreciate...
Yeah, I mean, it's constitutional right, have your gun, bro.
This discussion about how our views of law enforcement reflect ugly urges of authority and power, you might also like one of the best media analyzers to ever do it and their new video on the macabre story of body cam YouTube, coming from one Lindsay Ellis. In this video, she looks at hordes of body cam footage channels, and her analysis will probably surprise you with exactly what those channels tend to focus on. Spoiler alert, it's not black people. This is not cops redux. The thing is you won't see this video on Lindsay Ellis's main channel. She only posts there every once in a blue moon. If you want to see this video and the dozens or so videos she's made in the past few years, you have to go to my streaming service, Nebula. Nebula is the independent streaming service where creators such as myself, Lindsay, and a ton of others can make content without the draconian oversight of YouTube's algorithm.
This is actually good, bro. Independent, streaming services are the way, and they will be the new run. So great on you.
Along with YouTube's copyright rules and general barriers to creativity. As such, you can find a lot of original content from some of your favorite creators like myself, Foreign Man in the Foreign Land, Tierzu, etc. However, more excitingly, Nebula has been expanding its plate to include more original content that goes beyond your typical YouTube video. This means full-on documentaries, original films, original series, travel shows, even narrative podcasts. In the past 2 years, Nebula has shifted from saying, how can we help your favorite YouTubers make their best YouTube videos to how can we help your favorite YouTubers make whatever they really want? And the results are pretty cool. You can get access to all of what we're doing for a full year for 50% off for the rest of.
This is actually good. This is amazing. I kind of like, actually like that he's doing this, bro, because YouTube's so weird, bro. And having your own streaming service or your own site where it's independent, you don't have people pulling strings that shouldn't be. So this is good.
January with the special offer by following the instructions in the description or by following the QR code on the screen. This doesn't just get you access to literally thousands of hours of uncut and original content, but it also helps me as a creator because I have my own things I'm trying to get done, but I can't talk about them right now. And I promise you, we're closer than ever though. All that said, thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you to Nebula.
This is a great video. I think he tells a lot of truths in here, but I think me and him probably will disagree on some things. We're human. But yeah, I get it. I saw a clip. It was I don't know, I don't have it on hand, but it was like some guy that was outside with some dude. He robbed him, or he was trying to rob him, and he was in his backyard. He pulled a shotgun on him. He's like, "Let's talk about this." And again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this study show that majority of the time they aren't willing to kill you. But I think some people don't really care, or don't really. If you wake someone up in the middle of the night, boom, 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 and they don't hear police, they hear people walking around, they have kids. You shouldn't try to play offense. I think you should probably play defense in that situation. But majority of people are going to, go kill people or go kill them or whatever, whatever they say. Or take them out. For your point at the beginning about cops foaming out the mouth to tell you can shoot someone without... It seems like boys in the hood. Yeah, I mean, dude, if you see Florida, they do say that a lot. Like, they will shoot you. They will. So, I mean, it is what it is. America has a deep-seated punishment fetish. Yeah. The ICE officers who record saying it is like Call of Duty tells me how disconnected from humanity these officers are. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's real life. It's like Call of Duty. What the fuck are they talking about? I was walking down one day and I was assumed by a homeless guy asked me for $20 and I told him truthfully that I do not have any cash. Then he went on to ask someone else, a person behind me, for construction work on the side of the fence. Told me, yeah, you. Okay, had your black man, what? And I am confused by what that mean. He said, huh? Had your back, you knocked that guy out. You've been asking for $20 a day. The homeless guy wasn't aggressive or angry. Yeah, a lot of people think they're. Well, I think a lot of people. I don't know what it is, if I'm not mistaken. I do not know what the symptom is, but a lot of people realize they think they can fight and think they're this tough guy, but like majority of people aren't. They're not that guy, dude. And don't walk around acting like I think hitting people is not like, yeah, dude, I think we should hit him. No, dude. I think you should shut up and work your job. Me in the South, I hope someone breaks in my home so I can kill him. Is rampant? Yeah. Some people do that, man. Yeah, it's a sad situation though. Yeah. Cops with DV cases is a pattern. Yeah, facts. Like a lot of like, yeah, domestic violence. Yeah, I'm sure that's pretty high. I don't know. I'll look up the stats. If the stats are, I thought it was something else. I thought it was DUI, but yeah, I mean it could be. I don't know what that is, but okay, okay. Peak masculinity. Okay, okay. Violence is one of the few things that men in my family are allowed to express emotions. My cousin made guns his entire personality, constantly making up scenarios where he's allowed to shoot someone. It's creepy and borderline on being a fetish. I'm pretty sure, yeah. We are waiting for someone to break in, yeah. That is funny. I'll give it to you. Yeah, you are a little weird, like thinking of scenarios like, yeah, I'm a killer. I'm gonna kill you. Pretty weird guy. People don't know what de-escalation looks like. I think we all need, or I think you need to. Like, what am I reading here? I think you need the willingness to do the things. Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Like with the breaking in shit, I think majority of times, I probably would, you know, protect myself at the best because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what your intention is in breaking in someone's house. So that's different. But like, if you can see them face to face, I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, it all depends, you know. Leftist, former, airborne infantryman. Okay. Thank you for your service. The left doesn't own guns. A funny thing to hear from a dude that buys Walmart AR builds. Yeah, I mean everyone owns guns, regardless of fact a political party or not. But you guys gotta let me know what you think about this. This was a good one. I would see why people wouldn't say that because I guess their laws are more strict in like left cities. But it is what it is. Everyone owns guns. It's your right. It's your God-given right. But you guys gotta let me know what you think about this video. This was a good one. He will be linked. And yeah, man, let me know what you think. And let's go. I'll see y'all, bro. Great video, man. And actually, good job on opening your own like service, bro. Because that's actually smart to do, especially how YouTube's a little crazy sometimes. So good job on you, bro.